2.
Hi everyone, happy Thursday. I'm here in the Senate Suite right now in RSC 219. Come and visit us. I just wanted to show you a little bit of some updates that we've had. I posted, I think, some pictures about this wall, that this is SGA through the ages. So we have pictures from all the way back to 1995 that we found in some scrapbooks in here, and then up to now in 2018. There's like a 12-year gap from 2006 to, well no, from 2003 to 2015 or something. But anyway, we're going to be continuing this, so in 10 years you'll have 10 more photos up, and we think that this is going to be a really cool way to showcase what student government has been about in the past. So then, the newest addition to the SGA Senate Suite is this wall right here. So this is our chalk wall, pretty fun. It says welcome to SGA. Anybody can come in and sign it. We have chalk right here. You can come in, sign your name, say what inspires you about Wichita State, say what you love about Wichita State, say anything you want to say on this wall. And then, yeah, so anytime, come on in. We're in RSC 219. Let's head back to my office. Oh, hey, Breck. How are ya?
Doing well.
Good.
Good afternoon.
Good. So I think Breck's going to be asking me the questions today for Engage with Paige. So I guess we can go ahead and get started. Oh wait, first off, before we answer the questions, let's do, I would like to give an update about the amicus curiae brief that I've been discussing at every Senate meeting for the past 3 months really. So back in December, the Student Advisory Committee, we were notified of the budget exercise that all the institutions were required to do to show the legislature what an 18% cut across the board would look like to our educational institutions. So here at Wichita State, an 18% cut to education would be a 15% increase in tuition. At KU Med, it would be about a 43% increase in tuition. So we said we're not going to sit here and just let this happen and allow this 18% cut to happen, which in reality, a budget exercise isn't done to show people, yeah, this is what's going to happen. It's more so done to just kind of understand budgets for the legislature. So the Kansas Supreme Court said, yeah, we need $600 million more to go to K-12 education, and so that's where the 18% came from. So anyway, as a student advisory committee, which is all the Regent institutions plus Washburn, all the student body presidents, we said we need to say something about this because higher education shouldn't be cut to fund other sources of education. So in the Kansas Constitution, it says that Kansas must provide suitable payment, basically, to educational interests, and we believe that higher education needs to be thought about in there. So today we ended up filing our application to file an amicus curiae brief to the Kansas Supreme Court. So in the case that the Supreme Court accepts that application, then we will be submitting a brief by the end of this month, beginning of April, because they're due by April 30th in order for the Supreme Court to make its final decision about additional increases in funding to K-12 education. So yeah, that's an update there. It's pretty exciting. We put up some stuff on social media about it, so I encourage you to share it because we're really just trying to make it known to the legislature and to the Supreme Court that education is so much more than K-12, and higher education cannot be defunded in order to improve other places of education. So with that, I guess we can start with questions. So Breck, go ahead.
Question number 1. Why did you send President John Bardo a letter this week?
Sure. So as a cabinet, we decided that it was going to be necessary for us to say something. So last Wednesday, we were notified less than an hour before our Senate meeting that the president wanted us to continue with open deliberations instead of having closed deliberations, and that the recommended budget that came out of the Student Fees Committee would have more credibility in the case that we had open deliberations instead of closed ones. So because of that, he told us less than an hour before that we needed to hold off on bringing it to the Senate. And so as a cabinet, we were frustrated in that we spent a lot of time preparing for the Senate meeting and a lot of hours on end in this office trying to prep and just have an understanding about student fees in general. So anyway, as a cabinet, we decided we needed to just say something. And of course, I want it to be known that this isn't going to hinder our working relationship we have with the administration, but there are instances where there are times when we felt that we need to say something in addition to what's happening and not just sit back and let the administration tell students what to do all the time. So that's kind of our perspective and why we sent that letter.
Okay, question number 2. Do you feel like you've been thrown under the bus by President Bardo because he called for deliberations to be open?
So that kind of goes along with my answer to the first one, but no, I don't feel like, I guess not thrown under the bus, but I would say that the decision was made with advice from legal, and that's part of the president's team, and we didn't just make this decision as only students where we just talked about it amongst ourselves and came to the conclusion that we should have it closed. We talked to multiple different people and received advice, and then of course all of us decided to move forward with closed deliberations. But I wouldn't say thrown under the bus, but I would say that it wasn't just a decision made by students, and it's frustrating that it was put back on students that this was our fault and that we need to spend more time than we already have trying to get this whole student fees process under wraps.
Question number 3. What do you feel is your biggest accomplishment so far?
Sure. It's a really good question. I would say above all, probably the security cameras on campus that we're going to get, because I think that that's been something that so many students have talked about for so long, and it's been hard to find the money for it. And of course, if the student fees recommendation that comes forward from the student fees committee, if it's approved by the Senate and then approved by the president, that includes the money staying back in our reserves from student government, the $45,000, and then the university will match that to fund our security cameras on campus. So I think that that's probably the best one, just because I think it's an exciting opportunity and students have been wanting it for so long, and I think people are ready to see that improvement come to campus. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Well, as always, engage with Paige. Usually occurs on the first Thursday of every month, but this month we had to do it on the second Thursday just due to other circumstances. But in the future, just submit your questions early by noon on the Wednesday prior to the first Thursday, and we'll be happy to answer them. But thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good one. Bye.